Got a really interesting book I want to share with you today. I really need your feedback on it, see what you think about it. Let's get to it.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, haven't done a book review for a while, so I wanted to do one. And I read this book here in the last few months, and I thought, hey, I want to share this. I want to see what everybody else thinks about this book, and it is called The 12-Week Year. So let's get at it. The objective here is that they say is that they want to get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months, and the mission is that people can live the real life that we're capable of living. And the key differentiator is execution. So they are de-emphasizing annual plans, which often get looked at in November or December, and then you panic. I worked for big Fortune 500 companies, and fourth quarter was like, holy cow, we're like 30% or 40% behind where we were supposed to be, and we didn't get this and this and this done, which we thought was important a year ago when we were making these plans. So the authors Brian Moran and Michael Lennington, they emphasize to discard your annual thinking and discard your annual planning because it isn't really that effective. They talk about setting deadlines. How many of you set deadlines? Shoot me a note here in the comments. Do you set deadlines? Because their emphasis is, and I know that personally as well for me, deadlines have greater motivation. I get more done, even if they're self-inflicted deadlines. I get more done when I've got a deadline in front of me. They talk about getting out of this comfort zone of annual planning, get out of this comfort zone of the longer term planning. There is one place that they do talk about it, and I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Interesting perspective from the founder of Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, name was Sir William Osler, Osler. He said that we plan for the future, but we act in the day. Let me repeat that one for you. We plan for the future, but we act in the day. And so one of the keys to the 12-week year is the importance of daily activities in the 12-week time frame. They emphasize knowing your numbers. This is really important. I don't care what business you're in, and I have said this for 25 years. Know your numbers. The best business people I've ever seen know their numbers right off the top of their head. They don't even have to go look them up, at least the key numbers, the key performance indicators in their business. But greater control over our actions. We have greater control over our actions than we really do our results. And it's interesting. And I've learned this over the last, 20, 25 years to look at what today I know is famously called or regularly called leading indicators. I've looked at leading indicators. What are the key leading indicators that get me to the lagging indicator that I want? And sales is a great example of that. The lagging indicator is the sale. But the leading indicators are things like, how many leads do I get and need to generate a sale? What's my conversion rate of leads into sales? How about steps in a sales process? Do you even have a sales process? If you do, are you measuring the indicators inside your sales process and the conversion points from step 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on? So know your numbers. Know the leading indicators, because we have more control again over our actions, which are the leading indicators, than we do over the results, which in my example is the sale. Again, Moran and Lennington talk about identifying core or keystone actions and then commit to those. So know what's most important. Know that you need to do those things and make a commitment to doing the keystone or the core actions. I love this quote from Jack Welch. They bring it in. They bring it into the book. He says, "We have work-life choices, not work-life balance." Again, put that one back into play for you. Repeat that one. We have work-life choices, not work-life balance. And again, I think that's a really clear message of an actionable message out of this book. The big thing in the book, probably a third of the book, is about an execution system. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but they have an execution system, how this 12-week year concept actually works. And now here, the place that they do talk about a long-term perspective is creating a vision. They believe it all starts with having a very clear, strong, purposeful vision. And that's going to drive your daily actions. So you can look at 3 years, you can look at 5 years. Part of their execution system starts with the vision, with creating that vision. And I've heard that from a number of really, really strong business people here in the last few years. When I interview people about how did they start their business, why did they start their business, what were the motivations, and it often comes down to the real purpose that they had in mind, the real impact they were going to make by having this, by starting this business. And so again, Moran and Lennington talk about probably the only place that they talk about looking years out is when you're creating that vision so that it can be crystal clear why you get up out of bed every day. And then after, again, at the end of the execution system is this 12-week plan. It is weekly, critical, strategic things that need to be done. It is not a glorified, it is not a glorified to-do list. This is really, really important. If you take nothing away from today, the impact that you can have by thinking and planning weekly for getting the things done that are critical to your business, that are strategic in your business, and not just having a long to-do list. And especially if you're a guy, I hate to say it this way, but men love their to-do list. Men love to check something off and say, I had 7 things to do today and I did them all. And here's the list and they're all checked off. Well, that isn't going to get you where you want to go. That isn't what is most important. That isn't doing the most strategic and the most critical things in your business. So the 12-week year, I wanted to share it. Now, let me be candid. Let me be honest. I've started doing this, and I'll tell you that one of the biggest impacts I had out of this is this last thing that I mentioned, which is the critical nature of the things that have to get done for me to fulfill my purpose, for my business to achieve the vision that I have for it. And weekly, I will be honest, I still have a bit of a to-do list, but I make sure on those lists are highlighted, are identified the most strategic things I need to do each week. And that as I plan my weeks, I actually then go day by day. I have a sheet for each day, and I know exactly what critical strategic things need to get done in order for me to accomplish my vision and my purpose. So give it a shot. Put in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think of the 12-week year, the concept, and certainly the book itself. Thanks much.